After the smuggler rode away, the about half a dozen young immigrants, including an infant, were taken for questioning. Elsewhere in McAllen, another smuggler escaped back across the border by driving quickly down a dirt road after abandoning his cargo. 200 women, one with a 12-year-old daughter and one with a year-old boy, and 2 teenagers turned themselves in agents a short distance from the river. Agents found Gerber Chirac, 19, on the roof of a trailer with a fellow Guatemalan seeking to elude authorities. The teenager said he agreed to pay a smuggler $12,000 to get from Guatemala to Houston, where he planned to join a friend. Share this article. Share he swam across the Rio Grande and stayed in a smuggling organization's house before getting caught. I had hopes of making it, Chirac said after he choked up, explaining that he came to the U.S. to provide for his wife and daughter who stayed behind in Guatemala. Another man was detained along with a 4-month-old Honduran who first claimed to be his daughter. He then said he was her uncle and presented what appeared to be a false birth certificate. The girl, wrapped in white bedding, was placed in a white crib under close watch of U.S. investigators, who waited for a Honduran consular official to arrive on Monday. McAllen is now the nation's busiest station after the key drivers of illegal immigration shifted over the last decade from adult Mexican men entering in Arizona to Central American families and unaccompanied children crossing the river. Immigrants are held in a 77,000-square-foot facility that has tripled in size in the past year, mostly with Central Americans, and now houses 1,100 people. Families and children rested under shiny thermal blankets in cells of chain-link fences adorned with high-hanging televisions. They exited their cells for a lunch of a sandwich and apples. There are separate pods for boys who came alone, girls who came alone, and parents with their young children. Some older children are split from their parents to avoid having them mix with much younger children. Within 72 hours, the adults and families are turned over to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and unaccompanied children are handed to the Department of Health and Human Services. Border agents arrest 5,000 illegal immigrants with criminal records trying to cross the border. Hundreds of gang members and more than 5,000 convicted criminals were arrested trying to sneak back into the U.S. in just 8 months. They included 505 confirmed members of violent groups MS-13, 18th Street Gang, and the Mexican Mafia, hoping to rejoin their organizations. Last week, 6 violent criminals were detained for deportation after crossing the border, including a convicted murderer and pedophile. Border Patrol agents arrested a Mexican national near El Centro, California, who was convicted of child molestation on June 22. On the same day, a suspected MS-13 gang member was picked up near McAllen, Texas. On the other side of the country, a Peruvian national and a Mexican national were apprehended on June 23 near Everett, Vermont on Saturday. Record checks revealed both were previously deported, and the Mexican admitted to being a member of the 18th Street Gang. The next day, a Mexican man who served 32 years in jail for murder was apprehended near San Isidro, California. 2 more confessed gang members from El Salvador were arrested on the same day, an MS-13 member near 3 Points, Arizona, and an 18th Street member near Rio Grande City, Texas. Human smuggling is a violent criminal enterprise that puts the safety of our communities and our country at risk, Acting Deputy Chief Scott Luck said. We are committed to using the wealth of resources, technology and expertise at our disposal, not only to disrupt the current activity, but to identify and dismantle the criminal organizations behind it. Border Patrol was able to identify the criminals and gang members by searching CBP and FBI biometric databases. The databases electronically compared a live scanned fingerprint against a nationwide database of biometrically indexed records. President Donald Trump would prefer this never happened, and immigrants were immediately turned back to the border when found. This is the only real answer, he argued in a series of tweets on Monday morning. He said he'd like to send migrants back without due process, an option that is not currently available by law of his administration. He said hiring the thousands of judges claimed to be needed to process asylum claims and a long legal process was not the way to proceed. Hiring many thousands of judges and going through a long and complicated legal process is not the way to go, will always be dysfunctional, he wrote. People must simply be stopped at the border and told they cannot come into the U.S. illegally. Children brought back to their country. If this is done, illegal immigration will be stopped in its tracks and at very little, by comparison, cost. This is the only real answer, and we must continue to build the wall.